back, everybody. Let's try that again. What is up, everybody? Thanks so much for jumping back on. There we go. Technical difficulties. You know, it's not an IG live if there aren't any technical glitches, huh?
This is so true. That's been my experience so far anyway. I haven't done many of these, so yes, well out of my comfort zone, but it's all good.
Well, opportunity for us to all be growing together. Well, okay, let me start this off then. As somebody who's been following you for a very, very long time, and I've just absolutely loved watching your journey. You've been such an inspiration to not only me, I'm sure to so many other people. And my space as Afro is Massive and the AIM podcast that I've kind of created has evolved from being, you know, not just about Afro hair. You know, although hair is such a big part of who we are and what we do, you know, we're also so much more than that. We're much more than our hair. We are ambition. We are purpose-driven women. So my first question to you, and as a great introduction to everybody who is in this space with us, who are you? What are you working towards? And what is your aim right now?
Okay, wow, there's a lot of questions there. So I would describe myself as a kind of ever-evolving individual. Is how I'd probably describe myself. I don't know how other people would describe me, but that's definitely and I'm open to change and development and will remain that way throughout my life, because one thing I didn't know when I was young was that is never ending. You know, you just don't stop growing. So so you've got that to look forward to still. It never ends. What was the other? There was two more questions there. What were the other two? What am I working on?
Yeah, what is something that you're really passionate and that you're working towards right now?
Okay, so the modelling came around very late in life for me. So I am 56 now, and I've been modelling since I was 54. The little age of 54. So a year and a half, coming up for 2 years now. And it came around, you know, kind of by chance. It wasn't something I pursued, even though there's an irony, because when I was a 16-year-old going for my careers advice at the end of my schooling years, I was asked what I would like to do for a job, and I just blurted out, "I'd love to be a model." Like, you know, it looked exciting without giving it any thought. It just looked like fun. And I was swiftly kind of steered towards training to be a nurse, because that was more realistic for me, of course.
Yeah.
And I never gave it any, I never thought about it again after that. That was it. That was my one kind of, not experience in modelling, but, my one kind of thought of that I might quite like to do it. And then I never, ever thought about it again, never pursued it. And then at 54 years old in 2020, I went public with my page on Instagram, and really the purpose was, my bio read, it was to galvanize, and it was like a call to action for women of my age. And I wrote, let's create an authentic silver space for the next generation. And by that, I just meant I had nothing to look forward to. There was no representation of any kind that I could kind of look at and think, I want to be that in 20 years time, or I'd like to be doing this, or that looks exciting. And therefore feared aging. I kind of had this, quite an intense fear of aging, which a lot of people do still, even now. I mean, there was the model recently, what was her name? Something Christ, the beauty queen, that committed suicide, and a lot of that was around her fear of turning 30, which is insane. I mean, clearly she had other issues, but one of the things that she wrote in her note was this fear of turning 30. And I had a similar fear. I didn't, when you turn 30, it's like a real milestone in life. It's you're thinking babies and marriage and and have I done enough in my career, and all of that pressure. And that just needs to be just parked up, and people need to understand that there's so much more to life in terms of personal development. And just because society says you should be at a certain point in your life at a certain age, it's that's not the case. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. So at 54, I went public with my page, and really it was just to reach out to other midlife women who were perhaps feeling the same way that I was, that brands were ignoring us, that brands were deeming us irrelevant, particularly in beauty and fashion. So the experience of shopping in high street shops and not seeing any kind of representation of myself, and still I'm spending my money, I'm giving my money to these brands. It just did not sit right with me. And so I was complaining to friends, and I just thought, you know what, let me go online and start complaining about this. And it somehow got the attention of some model agencies, and then they said to me, we'd love you to be on our books. And my initial response was, I can't do modeling. Are you crazy, me? And then that sort of lasted for 5 minutes. And then I was like, Mia, my inner voice was like, Mia, you have to. You can't be complaining about a lack of representation and being given the opportunity to be in that space. So I've just, since then, just jumped at every opportunity. And I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. And it's been more than, there's been a lot of personal development. I realise the lighting's a bit odd here. Can you actually see me okay?
Yes, you're glowing, you're shining.
Oh, right, okay. It looks like there's a shadow on me at this end, but that's fine. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And really it goes beyond the sort of superficial of the experience. I love what I do. And it is really, it's about, I really feel like and I feel the same if I see another midlife model doing her thing, I get gassed and excited if I see somebody else doing what I do, because I just feel we're making progress, Sometimes it's tokenistic, that's, certainly the case, but it's something. I had nothing to look to. And as I said, when I first did it, it was more about connecting with other women that were feeling the same way as me. It wasn't really about, I didn't know that I would appeal to younger people like yourself, who, yes, you
as soon as I saw you, I can't remember the moment that I can't remember exactly the moment when, but I remember the feeling that I had inside when I saw you. And I think, again, it comes down to that thing of representation. I didn't know how I was going to look when I was going to be older, and unless you have, like, my grandmother, she's based in America, so we don't really have that same visual representation. And for the first time I was like, she is so beautiful. And I've got so much to look forward to, so please know that your representation is not only impactful for ladies who maybe have a few more years than I do, but especially for us younger people. We still need those role models to help us feel excited for the future, because there's so much more to do.
You're actually giving me goosebumps. Honestly, I do get really emotional when I hear that from young women. I'm a mother of two young women, so I don't know, it just really hits my heart, and you're making me get tearful.
But that's testimony to your work and your mission that you have been working on. As much as modeling is fun and exciting, you've been putting a lot of work into this endeavor for yourself, and you've been putting yourself out there, being very vulnerable as well.
Absolutely.
And that is something that really, I believe, needs to be recognized.
That's amazing that you see the vulnerability, because yes, absolutely. Like I was definitely, as a young woman, not having representation, I was definitely affected by that. So body confidence and all of that has been, I'd say it's been hugely accelerated in the last couple of years. I've really struggled with that for decades.
Yes.
So, yes.
You did the double page spread in the Sun.
I know.
How was that process for you, especially when it came to making the decision? What was that turning point for you when you were like, I think I need to do this? How was that process for you?
Well, my initial reaction when they approached us was, and this was through my agency at the time, was there's no way. Well, I didn't trust the Sun, to be honest with you. I thought they would have. Sorry, I'm going to blow. You're making me emotional. I'm going to blow my nose. Yeah, no. My initial thing was they're going to try and stitch me up, and whatever. And then I sort of, it became evident from speaking to them, and my agent at the time conveyed my not reluctance, but my hesitation around it. And it became evident that they really wanted to hear my story, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for this. And they did it alongside a lingerie shoot, but it actually really had some substance. The article, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah.
They also interviewed me on video, which I wasn't expecting. So I'm a bit like a rabbit in the headlights, but it was very natural and very organic, and just me. So I was just honest and truthful. And the process was, I had already done the Marks and Spencer's lingerie campaign,
yes.
which was huge, like for me, and in terms of personal growth, because I said yes to that immediately because I knew how important that was for women my age, and I knew it was an intergenerational cast as well, which was lovely. I always loved that. So it was just me hanging out with some young friends, basically. And I do hang out with I've got ex-colleagues that I consider friends of mine now. So I love being around young people anyway. So that was appealing. So I'd done that, and that was kind of like the precursor to doing the Sun, and having the confidence to have done that and got through that gave me the confidence to do the Sun, which, I mean, I have the anxiety beforehand, then the exhilaration once I'm there and I've done it, and then afterwards the anticipation for it coming out. And it's just a process that I've now got used to. It's like, it's in someone else's hands now.
Yeah, the reputation that the Sun has isn't the best. So I think obviously there's that anxiety with, what is the response going to be? And you say across your platforms, and quite rightly so, that ageism is old.
Yes.
How have you noticed things changing since, the start of your 2-year modelling career so far?
Yeah, it's not even quite 2 years, but during that time, I mean, just the very fact that I'm doing it now, signals change.
Yeah.
Because, I am a silver-haired, 56-year-old, curvy, mid-sized, midlife, woman of colour. So that just says that there's definitely change and shift happening in itself, the fact that I'm actually doing what I'm doing. But also I feel like there's masses more to be done, of course. And as I said earlier, some of it is very tokenistic, in terms of not just my own experience, but other models as well. I hope that there'll come a time where you see more than one midlife model on a set at a time. That's not been my experience yet. But I'm grateful. I am grateful for the opportunity to be at the beginning stages of this, and hopefully it will keep going in this, positive trajectory of an increase in representation. That's my hope. And I definitely, wherever I go, I definitely have the conversation with. People will might tell you, whether it's makeup artists or hairstylists or the client. I will have the conversation about how important this is, and how we need to build on what's happening now.
And it's just about continuing those conversations, isn't it? And
absolutely,
if there's a call for it right now, then the more that there's always an increased demand for new media and things like that. So hopefully this is the turning point,
Yes.
And you're being a fantastic role model for this kind of catalyst of change. So
period. Yeah.
You've done so many jobs now. I feel like I'm seeing you everywhere as well. You've done Stylist magazine, you've done Financial Times, of course, M&S and so on. What's been, I suppose, your favourite industry experience so far?
I would have to say the L'Oreal, the Vichy campaign for me, because that was very much, it wasn't, the importance of that campaign was around what I had to say. I definitely, you know, it wasn't about aesthetics so much. And in fact, the lighting was really harsh on that. And it wasn't, I don't think it was particularly complimentary in terms of other shoots that I've been on. Okay. It was quite harsh lighting. It was just real, which, you know, when I say complimentary, I mean, you know, in terms of what we're used to seeing. So for me, that was powerful in itself, that it was quite striking in terms of the imagery. There were wrinkles and everything, you know, it was what it was. But more importantly than that, it was about substance and what we had to say as women, being frank and open about a topic that, yes, there's been a lot of mainstream interest in of recent. At that time, less so when we shot that. Mm-hmm. But I think that mainstream conversation and narrative it's not a global thing, and this campaign is global, and so I think it's just been a absolute joy to be a part of, and it's ongoing as well. You know, I've just done some work with them recently, which is kind of building on what we've already done, and also they're doing more than they're doing. The whole approach is really holistic, so they're listening to us, they're listening to what menopause women have to say and what they want, and they're providing not just skincare but also information about what to expect. So they've had a holistic kind of approach to it, which so for me that's probably the most important and fulfilling job that I've had, modelling job that I've had, for sure.
Yeah. I think I saw actually one of your posts recently saying how I didn't know anything about menopause until I was experiencing it.
Yeah.
I think that's such a really poignant moment for a lot of us, especially as young people, young women, who we're not really educated on a whole section of our life.
Listen, you know? and the thing is, it's a third of our lives as well. You know, and it's not something. It should be in the school curriculum. You know, we taught about, you know, adolescence and everything except that. Also, GPs don't have to study it. It's optional, so it's an extra. So it's and that would be because we live in a patriarchal world. You know, it's like it's seen as a women's problem.
As soon as women are no longer able to provide children, then
yes, exactly that as well. It's seen as an old woman's problem as well. So you got that too. So it's not. And honestly, the impact of being perimenopausal and not actually understanding or knowing what's going on was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. How women have suffered in silence for generations, I don't know. And I just feel that we're the lucky generation in that we've got social media and we are talking about it now. We are communicating. We've got connections that are made on social media. There's a whole movement on Instagram for menopause, and so we're the lucky ones actually, even though, and hopefully your generation will benefit from what we leave behind in terms of shifting the narrative and just breaking taboo and stigma and all of that. So that's the hope anyway, is that
just starting those conversations, and you know, the more that we start sharing the information online, as you say, the more it's shared and the more we can do to ensure we get information and the correct kind of online education is being delivered, you know?
I actually really think it needs to be in the school curriculum. I really do. Like I said, it's a third of your life if you're lucky enough to live a long and healthy life.
Right. Are there any initiatives for that right now that you know of? Is it something that, you know, you're a bit more in tune with? Have you heard of anything? Like, is there any direction you can point us to? Anything we can sign?
There's nothing that I've seen. Maybe that's something I should start, actually. I know that there is a movement for pushing for GPs for it to be compulsory.
I mean, even that, I'm a bit disturbed by that anyway, that
it's insane.
A thing. So, you know,
it's
if there's anything that we can do or we can start pushing, keep me in the loop, let me know, let us know, because we can see from the comments, your followers absolutely adore you and what you stand for. So there's power in numbers, and I know that collectively something can be done.
Yeah, no, definitely. You've just triggered some thoughts in me that we need to action, definitely, because like I said, my experience was my mum told me about hot flushes, and that was it. And I thought, well, that can't be that bad, you know. But it's so much more than that. I mean, I won't go into everything now, but I do talk about it on my Instagram page, and also plan to do more on my blog as well about it. But the information is out there. There are a lot of people that are now in the mainstream having that conversation. There's, you know, celebrities and everything. So it's not difficult to find the information now, thank goodness. But it was for me in 2013 when it started for me. So.
Yes. Oh, wowza. So we look forward to hearing some more stuff from you as and when you feel ready to start embarking more on that side and sharing more stuff with us. I think that's amazing.
Absolutely.
So I suppose in terms of, you know, the things that you have done in your life so far, and, you know, this pivot that you've had, and now the future that you're kind of creating for yourself, what would your advice be to, whether it's young people or maybe people around your age who are looking for that pivot? You know, what is your best advice?
Wow. My best advice, do you know what's happened in my life? I have to say, I am not a kind of goal-driven person. I have to say that my path has not been a strategic one. It's been very fluid and organic. But I would definitely, I definitely identify now that I was following passions. You know, every job that I've ever had, the draw has not been a financial one, and it's never been about the next move either. But somehow, by following what I feel really strongly about and what I feel really passionate about, and trying to make a change, whether that be my time as a music journalist, whether that be my time at, you know, a Black Music Awards show, whether that be my time at Notting Hill Carnival, it's always been about making change and leaving something behind. I used to be called the puppeteer, because I'd always be doing that in the background and making change in the background, but never in the forefront. So me doing this now has been a long time coming, and I feel perhaps I definitely feel very equipped for it. But it is very much a blooming kind of process. It really is me blossoming and blooming and bringing everything and every experience that I've had to the forefront now, with me as the vessel, which is a new thing for me. It's a new experience, but I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm really happy to be here talking to you, and that you're even remotely interested in what I've got to say. So yeah, it's a new process. It's a new phase for me that and I'm loving the challenge of it. But my advice would probably be to make sure that whatever you do, whether it's in your career or in your personal life, that you feel a sense, you know, it's so cheesy, but that you feel a sense of purpose with it, you know, and that if you can identify a way of making change, or a way of creating a better space for others to inherit, then go for it, then make that change. And that's been my lead through. That's been the common thread throughout my adult life, to be honest. And it's funny, because I had been asked, what do you feel passionate about? What's your passion? And I've never actually, I was like, well, I haven't got any hobbies, and I've never been actually really sort of fanatical about anything in particular. And then it wasn't until recently I was like, well, actually, it's been the jobs that I've had, it's been the roles that I've had that have been my purpose and my passion. Without realizing it, I was just drawn to those roles. So yeah, I guess it would be just to try and make change, leave a trail of positivity behind you wherever you go. I don't know. That would probably be how I would. Yeah, my best advice.
Wonderful. Leave a trail of positivity wherever you go.
And also be kind to yourself too. You know, like just be good to yourself, and really just know your worth. Identify, just know your value. It's something that I didn't do as a young person. You know, I had that negative voice, always in doubt, imposter syndrome, all of that. And just know your worth, and know because I think when you walk into a room or a space, knowing that you're bringing the goods, I just think, there's nothing more powerful than that. So I know your worth, definitely.
Know your worth, having faith in yourself and what you can bring.
Yeah, and just
definitely a process.
As your authentic self as well. It's like you can walk into a room and people might not be able to identify what you can bring, but as long as you know what you're bringing and you can convey that in that space, whether it's a workspace or a social situation or whatever it might be, just knowing and understanding that you are valuable, whatever experiences you've had in life, whether they be negative experiences that you've learned from or whatever it might be, you bring something to the table.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. We've been chatting for half an hour, which has gone by so quickly.
Yes, it has.
I feel like I could literally talk to you all day. So I suppose to see us out, you've had your followers, a few of my followers jumping onto this IG Live. What can we expect next from you? Where, you're popping up here, there and everywhere. So where should we look out for you next? Where's Mia going to be?
So I have a model agency, but I've just got a manager as well. And we have lots of ideas. So it's just implementing those ideas. I'm looking at podcasts. I've got telly ideas as well. I really feel like there's a massive gap in broadcasting. I just don't think our generation is represented authentically in broadcasting. I just feel like we're just lumped in a group, and I have yet to see anything remotely appealing to me on television that represents me and my friends, we're all, I just think we're lumped together, 50 plus, 40 plus, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we're not actually, we're so diverse within our age group. My background is, I was a music journalist. I feel like there's so much more to me that I can draw on to kind of just to build on what I've got now. So yes, lots of ideas. It's about implementing those ideas and seeing if there's any interest, and maybe there's going to be a fight on our hands to kind of penetrate and make sure that we're listened to. I don't know.
How exciting!
Yeah, no, it is. I'm really excited. So it's podcast, maybe telly, maybe. I think that we'll start with those two, hopefully. But lots of ideas, and I think that I would love for my generation to just be catered for. I just feel like we're not catered for, and we're not represented, and by default, we're not seen by the younger generation. And my experience so far, most of my Instagram friends are like, it's more than 50% of them are 10 years or more younger than me. So I definitely feel that there's an interest there that perhaps brands and broadcasters haven't tapped into and don't realise. They just think it's all about the youth and young, and actually I've realised now. I had a TikTok video that was really well received, and a lot of the comments were around, I can actually see what I want, what I'm going to look like in 20 years' time. I've never seen this before. This is amazing. So I just feel like it's like I said, there might be a fight on our hands. We might have to, be very pushy and forward about making sure that we make a change in that arena in broadcasting, I think. So yeah, lots of ideas. So
very exciting stuff. Yeah. And we're really looking forward to seeing all of the incredible things that you continue to do. I know that we're going to be seeing so much more of you now, not only on Instagram and TikTok. I didn't know you were on TikTok. So
no, that's new. That's new. I'm just experimenting there.
Can't wait to see the TikTok dances.
I haven't done any of the trends. I might do that. I don't know.
It's fine. We'll get you on some trends. Look, I'm trying to figure it out too. It's okay. We're in this together. But so lovely for us to finally connect. It's been an honour and a privilege speaking to you today.
I've loved it.
looking forward to the next one at some point soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's so lovely. And I feel absolutely, like I said, goosebumps and just honoured that you're even interested in me. So thank you.
There's a lot of love, a lot of love between us and between people who have jumped on. Thank you so much, everybody who has jumped on to this episode of the AIM podcast done via IG Live. There's going to be more to come, but Mia, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And look forward to seeing you on the gram real soon.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much.
Have a lovely rest of your day. See you later.
You too, darling. Thank you. Bye-bye.